So, when it comes to the Pixar Theory, I usually watch it with passing interest. Something that is entertaining, but not necessarily canon for when I view the Pixar films. Still, it is sort of interesting to see what people come up with when they try to bring together a bunch of seemingly unconnected stories and connect them together into some coherent timeline. But I have never really done any videos on the topic myself. But after seeing Onward and seeing some other videos on how it connects to the Pixar Theory, I had my own ideas that are so awesome that I cannot just let them pass without mentioning them. So today I am going to be doing my own input, my own twist on the Pixar Theory. Just note that I am staying in a public place right now and talking about the Pixar Theory so openly, it's sort of cheesy for me. So let's hope nobody else comes in the room right now. And also, my script is right down there on my computer screen, so yeah, if you keep seeing me look at it, that's because I'm reading straight from my script. I know, so lame, but this actually is unscripted because, you know, it's not that. I don't need to say it fluently this time. Having seen Pixar's Onward in theaters before the entire country shut down, like I saw it on opening weekend, I was sort of, you know, looking forward to seeing how it would fit into the Pixar Theory. Usually when I watch Pixar Theory videos, I refer to the Super Carlin brothers because they just seem to be the leading voice on it right now. And so, you know, I don't see Pixar movies just to see how they fit into the Pixar Theory, but, you know, I always like to see the Super Carlin brothers' input. And so, yeah. So, after seeing the Super Carlin brothers' version of how Onward fits into the Pixar Theory, which I'll leave a link in the description below, I got pretty inspired to do my own version of the theory. I actually wrote a whole bunch of stuff in the comment section of the video, and much of that has actually translated into my script that I'm using here. Like, pretty much copy, paste, revise. That's pretty much what I did. And then add my own extra stuff to it. Add more. So, that's what this video is gonna be. Let's see what my script says next. So the Super Carlin Brothers video, touched on a few topics I had previously considered myself, like that Onward was the result of a crashed B&L Starliner. By the way, I don't think every Starliner is called an axiom. They all have their individual names. And the axiom was just one. It was what did the captain call it?
The Jewel of Morro Bay, California. Yes!
The whatever.
The jewel of the B&L fleet, the Axiom.
Was the axiom. But it was just one ship. So, for all we know, the Starliner that crashed on the planet Onward was called Starflight, for all we know. Just saying. But the video also caused me to think about a few things I may not have thought of previously. But most of all, it inspired me to do my own theory. A theory about how Onward just might completely revise the entire Pixar Theory.
Everything is part of the Pixar Theory. Thinking about it is getting me teary. One giant timeline, one huge...
So for this video, I am going to be springboarding off the Super Carlin Brothers video on the theory and going to infinity and beyond with it because I'm cheesy and I'm glad nobody else is here. So yeah, like I said, if you have not seen their video yet, you should probably look at it in the link in the description below, because if you don't watch it, you might be completely lost where this is all going. So, just like I said, in the description. So, Onward takes place in a suburban world with mythical creatures. The Pixar Theory states that this other world is entirely different from our own, only connected by the crashed Starliner, I'm just gonna call Starflight. But this raises an interesting question. The creatures on the Onward planet are almost completely identical to the fantasy creatures in our world's mythology. Now, how does this work? Is it just a coincidence? Well, you know the Pixar Theory. Nothing is a coincidence in the Pixar Theory. This cup of coffee appearing out of nowhere is sort of a coincidence, though. So this causes me to consider one key idea. What if the two worlds, planet Earth and planet Onward, were connected at some point in our history? Well, when would this be, you may ask? Namely, when mythical creature influence was strongest in our world, ancient Scotland. That's right. Boo, in her desperate search for Sully, somehow found herself in ancient Scotland. But we all know that. From there, she found a way to connect to the monster world. But it wasn't the monster world from her childhood she opened up to, but something far more ancient. Because Monsters Inc. and Monsters University do not take place in the future of our planet, but in the future of Onwards. Yes, the mythical creatures in our world are the prehistoric population of the monster world. The monster world that Boo first opened the doorway, literally to, from our world to theirs. And it was through Boo opening this door that an infinite bond between our two worlds was struck. A bond which has allowed mystical creatures to pass into our world for millennia, their presence shaping and influencing our world and culture, and allowing the magic of Onward's planet to seep into ours. Money fell out of my pocket. Good thing this is online, so you can't pickpocket me. Okay, so here's probably a good time to note that although the monsters are not traveling directly to their planet's past, when they pass through the doorway, they are still traveling back through time. Because the events in Onward take place so long after the events of WALL-E, that in order to access our planet in what we would call the present, they would have to go back into time. But I do think there's a clear correlation between the timelines in the two planets. The monsters in Monsters Inc. travel to our present, while the mythical creatures in pre-Onward era travel back to way before. Out of coffee. Now, for the longest time, most of the residents of planet Onward did not know the connection between the two worlds, or at least they didn't make much of it. Maybe we were the creatures of myth in their world, with only the occasional creature passing over. It might have been possible that the whole scaring thing didn't start until much later. Though it was certainly influential enough to shape our world, it had very little impact on theirs for a very long time. But this all changed when the Starflight crashed. Rest in peace, Sunny Flight. In the Super Carlin Brothers video of how Onward fits into the Pixar Theory, they explain how this incident is probably what introduced technology into the Onward planet. But it wasn't only technology that passed over with them. Well, the connection with our world and the other world hadn't been deeply established yet. As legends of their world had seeped into ours, legends of ours must have surely have passed to theirs. So once the Starliner came crashing down, evidence of humans was not just confined to their mythologies anymore, but something that came from the stars. So, while the magic of Onward was shaping our world, the technology of ours was shaping theirs. But it was a magic in our world from the pre-Brave times that set off the whole chain reaction that led to WALL-E in the first place. And that was set into effect by the events of Monsters, Inc., which is set far into the future of Onward, a time which the creatures of Onward have furthered their world completely with the technology of our world. So it is that our two worlds are completely intertwined through magic and technology, where one world cannot exist without the other. Bond so strong that the gap between the two worlds can be crossed by something as simple as a door. A bond so strong that technology and magic became one. Without magic, emotions are just chemicals in the brain, quantified by science. But when you bring magic into the equation, emotions can come alive. They can create enough power to fuel a city, bring toys to life, machines, cars, WALL-E, a connection strong enough to empower our memories to keep our loved ones alive in the land of the dead. Now, this is all fine and dandy, you may say, but what does this mean for Monsters, Inc.? Why are monsters afraid of humans? In the original Pixar Theory, it was believed that the reason monsters were afraid of kids and believed they were toxic was due to the fact that the humans polluted Earth, creating a radiation that mutated them into the monsters that they are. But if the human world is completely separate from the monster world, then the fear of humans and the search of clean energy isn't as personal. Okay, sure, but they still have us as an example, a cautionary tale of the dangerous others whose own self-destructive nature ultimately led to their demise. Proof of the fact given in the lack of actual survivors of the crashed Starflight. I mean, isn't the whole reason monsters collect human screams in the first place to find a clean source of energy to avoid making the same mistakes as the ones that were made in the past? It's just not their mistakes that they're trying to avoid repeating, but ours. But the ultimate reason why monsters are so afraid of humans is much, much deeper. Compare the monsters in Monsters, Inc. to the mythical creatures in Onward. Though they share some common trait of not being human, they aren't, in fact, the same. Now, why would that be? The answer is emotions. Well, we know that emotions, the memories they create, are powerful things. In another Super Carlin Brothers video, it was stated that back in the days of old, on Earth, not Onward's planet, fear was the dominant emotion. This is why monsters collect screams in the first place. But what if these fears of the creatures that crossed through our doors became so strong, and the memories they created became so mutated that the mythical creatures from Onward planet became mutated as well? At first, the mythical creatures were scaring for energy, but as more and more kids became afraid of these creatures, the memories of the monsters became darker. And when memories begin to change, so does reality. Pretty soon, the people of Onward found themselves literally becoming the stuff of human nightmares, the stuff that they have encouraged the kids to see them as. They became monsters. It was not nuclear energy, but the power of human emotions that mutated the creatures of Onward to the monsters we know in Monsters University and Monsters, Inc. Now, of course, they didn't know this was the reason. And I don't know how it happened. Some rumor based on the tales of human self-destructive nature, mixing with what was actually happening, something. But all in all, monsters learned one thing: humans are toxic. Well, the centuries passed on the monster planet, and scaring continued, and everything that happened long ago with Onward faded into ancient history. And then it came to pass that a human child would enter the monster world. A human child we know of as Boo. So now the theory has come full circle, and that is how Onward completely revises the Pixar theory. Now, admittedly, this does leave left unsaid the events following the humans after the events of WALL-E for now. But if this theory proves true, and Onward and Monsters, Inc. are on the same planet, I guess that means WALL-E is currently the end of the Pixar theory, Earthwise that is. I mean, with the exception of Bug's Life. It should also be noted that while Brave introduces the magic into the Pixar universe, it's obvious that it's been in our world much longer. How much longer? I don't know. But it's obvious that Boo has managed to live much longer than the average person. What has allowed her to live so long? Magic? Could this have something to do with the power of memories as well? And could the Phoenix Gem in Onward, the one that they try to use to bring back Ian and Barley's father, in any way be connected to Coco and how memories keep loved ones alive? Well, maybe time will tell. And if you have any ideas or additions to the theory, it would be interesting to hear them. As for me, that is my take on Onward and the Pixar theory. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, I should note that this actually isn't my main channel. I barely ever post videos here. Maybe if I do the occasional theory or something, which I don't do that often, then I might. But my main channel is actually Everest Canyon. That is where I make the fictional videos, you know, the Lego videos, just the fun videos and stuff, the story stuff. And that is my main channel. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.